Hi, I'm Johnny Stitches, and for some crazy reason, I decided I should start reviewing movies on YouTube. I don't have a 2025 movie to review yet, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna review movies. So why don't I just start off with all the movies I watched last year and which ones I like the most? Uh, yeah. So cue an intro. All right, so like all great list, there is some honorable mentions, and this is the year of the sequel. I would say that would definitely be the theme. Not just in my honorable mentions, it's kind of trickles its way into a top 10 as well. But let's not dilly dally too much here and go right into my honorable mentions for 2024. Number one on the honorable mentions. I'll get good at this one day. Alien Romulus. Again, these honorable mentions aren't in any order. Well, I will say my last honorable mention was almost number 10, so I'll give it that. But Alien Romulus is not at the bottom. It is a very creepy, well, like, made dirty universe, which I realize most of the Alien movies take place in that, but I felt like you could really feel the filth in the beginning of this movie in the port town and all that. Won't stay on this too long. It's a great film. I got a chance to watch all of them right before I watched that one. So that was cool to revisit all these movies from my childhood along with one of my children. So that was really fun. Next is Beetlejuice. This movie was a lot funnier than I thought it would be. And actually a lot better than I thought it would be, being a sequel this far out. Anyway, yeah. So my next one is also a sequel. Twisters. What the hell? What is up with these sequels that are so far removed from the originals? But it was good. It was really good. I really, really enjoyed Twisters. Yeah. And then my next honorable mention is also a sequel, and that was Gladiator 2. I enjoyed Gladiator 2. It seems like a lot more than people I talked to about it and discourse online from last year. But I think the easiest way for me to let people know how much that movie is enjoyable, again, is through the eyes of my children. I showed both of them the first Gladiator and showed all of them the second Gladiator, and they like the second one better. So take with that what you will. And another number two, and that was Inside Out 2. Inside Out 2 was really, really good, especially when you have a daughter, going through, a lot of that same emotional stuff that that the main character is going through in that movie. It looked phenomenal. Pixar animation is Pixar animation, and I really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, that leads me to my last honorable mention, and that is, you ready? Ready? Could have been number 10, but quite wasn't. Sort of a sequel, not direct sequel, but it's in a movie universe, and that was Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. What a title, huh? One was really, really fun. I went into that movie thinking this is not going to be that great, and it was a blast. An amazing popcorn movie, and whoa, what's that? What's that? Just for the flashiness of it. I know everybody's got a different popcorn movie feel, but mine is, it doesn't have to be super deep. It doesn't have to sit there and leave you emotionally scarred, but you can still enjoy it. So, and I felt that way about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. That it left me feeling like, man, this could have been on my top 10, but just wasn't. Let's move to the top 10. So my top 10 movies for 2024. So I'll preference these by saying I saw all of these movies. That way, I'm not just reviewing movies. So if there's a movie that you're like, how come this isn't on his list? I'm not just reviewing movies for movie's sake. I have to see the movie in order to review it. That is one of my hairy codes here. So I saw all of these movies. So let's start with number 10. Still not super sure if I'm going to use number cards or not. So if you saw a number card, I decided to use them. So number 10, it's The Substance. So The Substance was, how do you describe The Substance? The Substance was like, to me, like Stanley Kubrick and David Lynch had this baby, and they sprinkled some like no sleep Reddit story in there and swirled it around, shook it up, and made this visually stunning movie. I did like an audio drama podcast for years and made my own Foley for those. And the Foley work in this movie, like there's a point Mr. Quaid is eating these that's not his character name, I don't remember his character name, but the big bigot of the movie is eating these shrimp. And I mean, just the Slurpee and the cracking of them. It's that times everything. Even when a character at one point says her name, she says her name is Sue. I don't want to spoil really a lot of things that happen in these movies, but just in case you haven't seen them. But like when her lips part, you can almost hear of like the separation of the lip. I mean, the Foley in this movie is amazing. And if you're gonna do a body horror esque, I mean, I didn't feel like it's not a spoiler to say no one gets like hacked up and their limbs separated in it. So, and everybody, whether it's the Thing and stuff like that, they got different definitions of body horror. And I guess the one that makes me like, oh, I don't want to watch someone get sawed completely in half and these kind of things. It's just not my idea of body horror or enjoyment in a movie, period. So I was a little reluctant to see this because there were so many people saying, "Oh, it's a body horror movie. It's a body horror movie." Yeah, it is, but it's not that. It's not horror for like our guts for guts sake. And when the usage of body horror takes place, it's kind of enjoyable, and I don't mean like yay enjoyable, but like oh my god, like wow, someone pulled this off. It's a great movie. Demi Moore does amazing. Margaret Qualley is great. It's just a really cool contained story that makes you really care about a character-driven story, and then this just surreal aspect happens on it. So check out The Substance. So my number 9 movie was Love Lies Bleeding. This movie, I think, was one of the first movies I saw in theaters last year, and I didn't expect it to make it to my top 10 list. But when I was sitting down going through all my little ticket stubs and looking on my movie app to see all the movies I saw and kind of doing my process of elimination, I put this one down originally, I think before like after Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. And then I kind of went back through it and I was just like, no, I really, really like this movie. I watched the trailer to it, and I will say I saw a few people review it and they didn't spoil it and they're like, go see it. I mean, my wife went to see it. It was one of the first movies I saw of last year, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's kind of a very not typical love story. I don't know if that's a spoiler. I try not to spoil too many movies, but love's in the title. So the ending is crazy. Like if you go watch it and come back in the comments and tell me how crazy you thought the ending was, because I was blown away by it. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I really enjoyed it. It's good movies to me can take two characters and like really make you care about them in just this small few hours you're with them. And when you're talking about it still while you're brushing your teeth and laying in bed and things, it's a really good movie. And number 9, Love Lies Bleeding, left me with that taste in my mouth of like, I would watch this again, maybe even 2 more times. Number 8 is our first musical biopic on the list. And our last. So I did watch the Bob Marley movie last year. I really enjoyed it too. But it didn't even make it to my honorable mentions over the ones I did mention. But I am mentioning it. But I feel like A Complete Unknown was top 10 material. I really, really enjoyed this movie. I'm not a big Bob Dylan fan. My dad wasn't a big Bob Dylan fan. And he kind of got me into like Zeppelin and all these things growing up, and that kind of evolved into AC/DC, and then I got into Metallica and, so on and so forth, into heavy, heavy, heavy death metals and all that kind of stuff. And I just never really got it. I always like just thought about people making fun of them. Like, hey, I just felt like that. every time someone brought up Bob Dylan. And I remember finding out that he wrote All Along the Watchtower. So I went and listened to it. And I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'll take the Jimi Hendrix one. But this movie was great. I mean, it really, really opened up my eyes to this guy. I mean, just like probably a lot of people, I went and like got the Apple playlist and put it in my Apple Music and was listening to it for like till 2 days after the movie. And I haven't really listened to it that much since. Still not the biggest Bob Dylan fan, but Timothy Chalamet knocked it out of the park. Really, really good movie. The guy, I don't know the actor that played Johnny Cash in this, because I know this was made by the same person that made Walk the Line, but that guy was really, really good as Johnny Cash. Like the way he has his car parked in one scene and the conversation that happens. Again, I don't spoil too much, even though it's just a biopic. But yeah, go see it. It's a really, really good movie. And if Home Dude really did sing and play all these songs, I've read that he learned to play guitar for this movie, and he did a great job. I mean, it's definitely worth it. So, A Complete Unknown, I completely recommend it. Chalamet's Coexist. This is Dune Part Two. That is my number 7 movie of 2024. So I just realized that both the Chalamet movies are next to each other. Popcorn movie. It has all of what I described earlier, but heart, emotion, story. I think I enjoyed it more than the first one, man. And the first one was visually stunning. I'm not into all the Dune lore. My wife's read one of the books. I've never read any of them. A few of my coworkers and stuff have, go into the deep lore and all that is the Dune movies. But or the Dune books and how they're continued by the kids and all this stuff. I've just seen the movies, and it is number 7 on my list for a reason. I've watched it in theaters. I've watched it at home on my big screen. It's just gorgeous, man. It's a gorgeous movie. It's an emotional movie. I want to know what happens next. It's just got that feel to it. And I really, really enjoyed it. So check out Dune Part 2 for some reason if you haven't. I said earlier about my horror movies, the things I don't like, but what I do like are bloody horror movies. And I don't mean in a body horror way, but I mean in a vampiric way. And I know I said I wouldn't try to do any spoilers on this, but this one kind of got spoiled for a lot of people. It's one of those things I wish they would have. They didn't try to keep it a secret, but if they would have, I think it would have made this movie that much better. But how do you keep something like that a secret in the internet age? It's really hard. But Abigail is my number 6. And Abigail was phenomenal. Now, I sat down and showed it to my daughter and didn't tell her anything about it. So when the big vampire reveals and all that happened, it really got her, like, whoa. So it's one of those things that I really, really wish that movie, like I said, could have been marketed some way. But if you don't tell people it's a vampire movie, how do you expect them to go see it? I get why all of it's on the posters and the trailer and all that kind of stuff. But it was an amazing movie. It was such a good, like, almost like a haunted house movie without a ghost. Like what I mean by that is a lot of haunted house movies, they stay centralized in like a house and how the party gets there and what they go through while they're in it and how do they get out of this situation, or is there a lone survivor, is there no survivors, that kind of thing. It really has that element to it, but God, it's just a really, really bloody great time. Amazing story, and you should definitely check out Abigail if you haven't. Keeping the Heart Pumping was A Quiet Place, day 1. Popcorn movie again, visually spectacular, but again, when you can take all of that, which I like sitting down, there's a lot of movies that were popcorn movies that didn't make this list, but you can combine that with characters that you emotionally are tied to. I know this might not be agreeable to everybody, and you can comment below, that's what this platform's for, but I really think I enjoyed this Quiet Place movie more than the other ones. I know I just talked about, like, getting to know 1 or 2 characters in movies and how close you get to, and you do get that feel in the other Quiet Places, this family that you're a part of. But this one, it's not really an ensemble cast or anything like that, but because of it taking place in a city instead of like a farm, and you getting to see all of it go down, it for for some reason it just gravitated to me more. Like there's this part where they're kind of in a theater and these creatures are, stalking about, and it just, I like the setting more. I liked um, the main character a lot more, and there was a cat in it. I'm not a super big cat person, but I was just like, I really hope they don't kill this cat in this movie. I won't tell you if they do or don't. You'll have to watch it. But it was a very, very enjoyable movie, and it makes me think, okay, cool, they can make 100 of these movies and they could all be good. We know the creatures, we know their weaknesses, we know what they're about, but we don't know what they're like in this part of the world or in this situation or with these people that we've never met. So there's like infinite combinations where we as the viewer will know what can happen and what's going on, but now it's in this new setting with these new folks. How are they going to handle it? I think it really opens up the possibilities for a lot of great movies to come from the Quiet Place universe. Really, really enjoyed it. Number 4. All right, so here we are in the top 5. The Wild Robot. This movie took me by surprise. It was gorgeous. I mean, the animation is so awesome. It's got that, I don't know if like the Iron Giant was made by Pixar kind of feel to it. It's very, and that's not doing it justice either, because I think it looks better than a lot of Pixar movies I've seen, and that's saying a lot because the movies look great. But it's its own animation style. But the story, man, it is a parent relation, like, massive movie. And I got a ton of friends that aren't parents that saw it and loved it, and kids that obviously aren't parents that can still get a lot from it. It literally, it's got something sprinkled in for every audience, and I really, really, really liked it. I mean, at the end of the day, there's cute characters you get attached to that are going through some major happenings, and it's visually stunning. It's a tearjerker in some areas. I caught myself misting up during it, and you could hear it all in the theater around when it was going on. So definitely number 4, The Wild Robot. Check it out. It's probably, I think it is going on the next 3 movies. It is my number 1 animated movie of 2024. Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm a popcorn movie guy, as I've already said a bunch of times on this list. I'm not a super big Marvel guy. Like, I mean, I've seen probably almost every Marvel movie in theaters over the years. Rewatched them with family members and things like that. But this one, man, was just a good freaking time. Like, I have a lot of history in the car business and stuff. So just them, like, making fun of CarMax in their own little way, like in the opening parts. All of that was just enjoyable. When I was growing up, I loved the animated X-Men. So getting to see finally some of those elements from my childhood and X-Men, like, really come through. I mean, I get like Colossus and all that was in the other ones, but if you've seen the movie, which again, we're in 2025, this came out like in spring or summer of last year. It's on Disney Plus and stuff. You've probably seen this movie, but I'm gonna try to stay away from spoilers on it. But the Madonna song, man, freaking really, 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 and I've already really enjoyed that song, so it just really took it to the next level. So number 3, just because of the Madonna song, and that's it. Just the Madonna song. That's all you need. No, the whole movie was great. So Deadpool and Wolverine. What else can I say about it? Check it out if for some odd reason you haven't. Number 2. So Nosferatu is my number 2. I know there's already been a ton of these. Nosferatu 1 or Nosferatu 1? No, Nosferatu. This Robert Eggers movie was the last movie I saw of last year, because I saw it right after Christmas. I enjoyed The Northman. I enjoyed The Witch, and I liked The Lighthouse. I didn't love it, but I really, really, really liked The Witch and The Northman. And I've seen the original Nosferatu, and when I was a kid, I saw the Are You Afraid of the Dark episode where some guy gives people a film where Nosferatu comes out of it. So I really wanted to see something more modern and something more serious. I've never watched the one that was made in the 60s or the 70s. I probably want to watch it now just because that's now, I think, the only Nosferatu I haven't seen. So I will probably check that out. This movie did not go where I thought it would. And I've seen the original. Um, and I mean that in a great way. I've never seen a better movie about like sacrifice. Not lately, anyway. Not in this kind of universe. But above all, this was like watching a painting come to life, man. This every frame of this movie could be like hung on a wall. Like you could hang all of Nosferatu on like an art gallery and just start at the first frame and just go through. It's just great fucking movie. Nosferatu. Go check it out. I think it's still in theaters right now. Yes, it is. It is. It's still in theaters. Go see it. The best movie of 2024, according to everybody. No. The best movie of 2024, according to me, was without a doubt the movie I saw the most in theaters, watched at home already a few times, and could watch again and again and again. And that is Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. I know, you probably didn't see that one coming. A lot of people don't. Whenever they ask me, what was your favorite movie of last year? Which is one of the whole reasons I wanted to start doing movie reviews on this channel. I really enjoyed the hell out of this movie. And not, I went into it expecting there's no way this could be better than Fury Road. And I think it was better than Fury Road. I watched Fury Road right before I went and saw it the first time. I watched Fury Road with my daughter and then went and saw Furiosa again. And then I went and saw Furiosa, I think, a third time. I think I saw that movie 3 times last year in theaters and then watched it at home not too long ago. I really like it. I mean, it is by far my favorite movie of 2024. And maybe if I would start doing some retro reviews, like movies that have come out before I started doing movie reviews, like from last year or decades back, it's definitely on the list of when I'd love to do more of a deep dive on it. It is not the, I think the thing is everybody thought, okay, it's going to be like Fury Road. It's going to be a point A to point B story that is like adrenaline filled. And that is Fury Road. Fury Road's a great movie, but Furiosa is what I like, which is what I like in Dune. It's world building. It's these other factions. You see more of them and you get to see somebody go from a child to where you see them in Fury Road. I get that Furiosa would not be as good without Fury Road, which is another reason why, even though it's a prequel, whatever, just like Dune Part Two and a lot of my honorable mentions, this has been the year of the follow-up or the prequel or the sequel, because a lot of those kind of movies are on my list. But I genuinely have seen both of them back to back, and I would definitely put my stamp on that Furiosa is my favorite Mad Max thing. Seeing all the original 3 movies, Fury Road, playing the video game. I really like the video game. But Furiosa is it. That is my number 1 movie of 2024. So what was your top 10 of 2024? You can comment below and let me know. And I don't have a cool catchphrase. So see you in the next video. Bye.